Bum, 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 bum. Hey there, everybody, it's Thorpian. I've had a lot of questions about how to make money, so I tested 5 good money making methods and wanted to find out how much money to make and how you can improve them. Which one's the best? I'll tell you what I think, and then you can tell me what you think in the comments. Now, before we get started, I just wanted to tell you that you're awesome and that I believe you can accomplish awesome things that will help other people around you. And just FYI, awesome people like you should subscribe to Thorpian's YouTube channel and leave a like on this video in particular. All right, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to talk about is pumpkin farming. Now the requirements for this are pretty straightforward. All you really need is a giant pumpkin farm, which if you want to check out how to build, I've got a link right here for you. You're also going to need a pumpkin dicer. Now this is like a fully maxed pumpkin dicer. So this isn't necessarily what you're looking for. You do want Sunder 5. If you can get Turbo Pumpkin 5, that's pretty good, but Sunder's gonna make the bigger difference. You're gonna want kind of the best farming armor that you can get. I have Fermento and Rancher's boots. You're gonna want to maybe get a Blessed Reforge, but that's like starting to get into that min-max territory. Most importantly, you're going to want a pet. In this case, you're actually going to want the legendary elephant pet. Now, a lot of times, mushroom cow is better, but in this case, you want legendary elephant, unless you've got a mushroom cow with a Minos relic farm and you've got farming level 60 and bonus drops and you've like hyper maxed everything. Sure, then use your mushroom cow, whatever. Most of us are going to happily use our legendary elephant. So all you're going to do is grab your pumpkin dicer and you're going to farm your pumpkins. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You hit your angle of 135 and you just travel along your farm. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So now for the questions. How much money does this make? All right. So with a farming fortune of 722, I actually upgraded mine a little bit, but 722, I made about 6 mil an hour doing this. And this is with the current bazaar prices. It's possible that they'll crash a little more, but I think it'll be pretty steady. So 6 mil an hour. You can make anywhere from 3 to 7 mil an hour, depending on how much farming fortune you have. You have an absolute maximum amount you can make of about 8.5 to 9 mil with the way pumpkin prices are right now. But this requires you to like hyper max your farming fortune. Like this is like 1,000 farming fortune with your mushroom cow and your Minos relic and all that stuff. So 6 mil an hour for 722 farming fortune. You can kind of figure out where you're going to fall based on your farming fortune there. And so that's our first method. I'm not a huge fan, but it's really nice because it's pretty AFK. And if you've got some of the tools, you can make a pretty solid amount of money. Just holding 2 buttons down for a really, really long time. All right, next up, we're going to talk about Zealot Bruiser grinding. So to do this method, we got to go to the end. We need to equip some form of combat armor set. It doesn't really matter, but if you're gonna be doing this, you might as well do Final Destination. That way you'll be upgrading a Final Destination set while you do this. The other thing you're going to need is some form of weapon. Now, Enderman and Enderman types like the Zealots can't be affected by ranged weapons, or rather by bows, unless you have the Juju or Terminator. So you're going to want something like a Fire Veil wand, a Juju wand, a Terminator, maybe like an Ice Scythe or something like that. And you're just going to go to the Zealot Bruiser Den, and you're going to kill these guys. Now there's a few different routes you can run, or different ways you can run around here, but the one thing to keep in mind is that there's going to be a lot of people here, and your money per hour is going to change a pretty good bit based on how many people are here. Now, the goal of this method is going to be to spawn something called a Special Zealot. And the chances of these are fixed. So they're not based on Magic Find. They're literally based on how many it has been since your last Special Zealot was spawned. Now, there are a couple different modifiers to that we're going to talk about right now. But basically that means that you don't need Magic Find, you don't need like luck, you don't need looting. None of those will really change the money you make per hour. Your goal is to kill these guys till a Special Zealot spawns, and then kill that Special Zealot for his summoning eye. So how do we increase our chances and make this money faster? Well, first off, you're going to have to have a weapon that can kill Zealot Bruisers, ideally in 1 hit. If you can do 2, you actually get a slight boost, but then it gets really annoying to deal with. So you want to do it in 1 hit. you're going to want a legendary Enderman pet or mythic. But a legendary Enderman pet will give you a skill called Zealot Madness, which increases your odds to find a special zealot by a percent up to 25. My guy's level 72, so he only gives me an 18% boost. Yeah, I know, I'm poor. You also want to talk to this Dragon Ritualist guy and use some Dragon Essence to get Z-Luck level. So it goes up to 5, which gives you a 10% increased chance to find a special zealot. I have 4 right now, and I can upgrade it one more time. So you can also get Enderman Slayer 5, but I mean, honestly, if you're at that point in the game, you probably shouldn't be doing this for money. But that does give you a 15% boost for these guys, and you can use them to spawn your Enderman Slayer bosses, which is an option. So how much money does it make? Well, first off, again, keep in mind that this does make a good bit more if you can find like a solo lobby, but it's really hard to find a solo lobby. So I actually tested this in kind of a half and half combination between a solo lobby and a me and one other person lobby. So you're gonna make about 4 to 5 mil an hour. So that translates to about 10-ish summoning eyes. Now the chance for these guys is about 1 in 300 with my kind of stuff. So with my Enderman pet and with that Z-Luck, it's about 1 in 300. It's actually kind of nice because once you go above a certain number, the chance will actually increase to make you not feel as bad, so you don't have as long of dry streaks. So like technically the effective chance is going to be a little bit less, but I used 1 in 300 as kind of an estimate, and I feel like that's pretty solid. You can get down to like about 1 in 240-ish if you have E-Man Slayer 5 and a level 100 legendary elephant pet and Z-Luck level 5, which can net you up to about 6 to 7, maybe 8 mil an hour, but it is a little bit luck based because these guys are pretty far between. So that's our second method, Zealot Bruiser farming, and you're gonna go here for summoning eyes, and you're gonna get about 4 to 5 mil an hour, depending on some of the upgrades, all of which are pretty reasonably cheap, except for Enderman Slayer 9, obviously. That's nuts. Okay, so what's next? Next up, we've got automaton killing. Now, automatons, for those of you that don't know, drop automaton parts. That's going to be like the control switch, electron transmitter, FTX, Robotron reflector, super light motor, and the synthetic heart. Now, the prices of these things varies quite a bit, and a lot of people like to flip them. But your job isn't going to be flipping them. You're going to try to actually get them. So we're going to make sure that we have a Crystal Hollows pass. We're going to go to the Crystal Hollows, and luckily enough, we're actually in the Precursor Remnants. That's very, very convenient. So then what we're going to do is we're going to grab I can do this, a Wishing Compass, and we're going to go somewhere in the Precursor Remnants, and we're going to go ahead and use the Wishing Compass to point us towards the ruins, so the ancient city ruins. And what we're going to do there is we're going to find our automatons. So I'm going to mine my way over there. All right, we finally made it over here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to run around and we're going to kill these automatons. Now, in order to do this effectively, you're going to first need to be able to access this area. So to do that, you're going to need Heart of the Mountain 3, which gives you access to the Crystal Hollows, and you're going to want to be able to one-shot these level 150 automatons. It's pretty easy with a Heroic Aurora Staff. It's one of my favorite easy peasy weapons, but it's up to you guys. You can use any weapon you want. A lion pet might help you to be able to one-shot these guys, but the goal is to be able to kill these automatons as quickly as possible. Now, what's a little weird about these guys is that they actually appear or spawn in fixed spots in the city, but they will only spawn when you're next to them and when it's been a while since someone has killed them. So if you see here, this guy is also killing these, so I'm gonna have some difficulties in, finding where the spawns are because they're gonna have been killed by him, so they're not going to be ready to spawn. Now, if you do this for long enough, you'll know where the good spawns are, and you'll just be able to find a circle or a route to run that will bring you past where the automatons spawn, and then once you kind of get there, they'll spawn and you can kill them. It's really not that hard. There's a lot of spawns in the city, but obviously you can make this better if you know where they're going to spawn. So I went ahead and I tested this method, and I used a black cat. So you want magic find, as much magic find as you can get. I can't get very much, but I can get some with my black cat, with my booster cookie, and with my god potion. And I have about, I think, like 175, 180 magic find for these guys. But I went ahead and ran the numbers kind of without any magic find. So a magic find, I guess, of 90, and then a magic find of 150. So here's what it looks like. So if you kill these guys, you're going to kill about 100 of them with a mix of these level 150 ones and these level 100 ones. The level 100 ones have a lower chance of dropping automaton parts. The level 150 ones have a higher chance of dropping automaton parts, but it's actually a pretty high chance. In fact, it's so high that using this method with about 90 to 150 magic find, you're going to be able to make about 4 to 6 mil an hour. Sorry, 5 to 7 mil an hour. So, 4 to 7. I mean, if you have no magic find, you might make 4, but you can realistically make about 7 mil an hour without like crazy magic find investment, which is pretty good. And that's using kind of average prices for the parts, which fluctuate, but they fluctuate within a range. And I actually flip those pretty regularly. So I used a rather conservative number. If you sell them in bulk, you can make more money even than that, so even more than 5 to 7 an hour. You can also use the parts to craft drill parts in the forge, which can make you even more money an hour. But again, that's going to require some more Heart of the Mountain. The simple thing is that if you kill these guys, you can make about 5 to 7 mil an hour. If you have crazy magic find, like we're talking like gold dragon, like maxed out enrichments, all that kind of stuff, you can actually make up to like 13 to 15 mil an hour killing these guys. And that's without selling in bulk. That's just kind of at average prices, which I think is pretty nuts for how easy this method is. I mean, you just literally run around and like shoot these guys. All right, so that's it for this method. I would definitely recommend it. Totally worth doing. So next up, we're back in the Dwarven Mines again, and this time we're going to grab a jungle pickaxe. The jungle pickaxe is going to give us a chance of dropping sludge when we're in the Crystal Hollows. Now, this method is going to require a little bit more investment than some of the other ones we've talked about. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to start in the Crystal Hollows. For that, you need Heart of the Mountain 3. But in order to really do this method effectively, you're actually going to need Heart of the Mountain 6. And the reason you need Heart of the Mountain 6 is because you want to have access to the Mole perk, which when you mine hardstone will also mine adjacent hardstone. If you have a Skatha pet, you can further increase the amount of money per hour that you make with this method. I have a level 68 epic Skatha, which gives a 68% chance to mine 2 adjacent stone or hardstone. And that is what I use to test this method. So in order to do this, you're going to need some gemstone powder, but you can do it without gemstone powder. You'll just obviously make less money in order to get that mole perk. Now the mole perk doesn't cost a crazy amount of powder, so it's not too hard. You're going to need that Heart of the Mountain tier 6. You're going to need, most importantly, you're going to need to get 1500 mining speed. Now the jungle pickaxe alone can get you about 440 with efficiency 5. And what you can do to make it even better is to give it a heated bonus. So if you reforge it with the heated power, it will give you more the deeper you are. And what you can do with that kind of ability is you can get right up close deep in the mines, as close as you can possibly get to the magma fields without being in them, and break the hardstone in the jungle for more. So you'll see that I'm accumulating this sludge juice, which is used for gemstone mixtures, which is used for divan armor, which everybody in the world wants because gemstone make money Gemstone mining is crazy money. So you get quite a bit of this stuff. So of course, you know, saying that you make quite a bit of it is meaningless. So I'm going to tell you exactly how much I made. So using kind of my stats, I made about 7-ish mil an hour. You can probably make about 6 to 8 mil. If you have very low stats and you have no mole perk at all, it'll probably be closer to like 3 mil an hour. So I would recommend getting the mole perk before doing this method. Sludge mining is going to make you about 6 to 8 mil an hour. And that's going to be about 80% from the sludge and about 20% from the hardstone you get. Hardstone, surprisingly, actually sells for a pretty decent amount. But you can also turn that sludge into gemstone mixtures for extra profit. And you can sell your hardstone as either concentrated stone or even the silex in order to make like a slight profit bump, because those things are worth a little more than just the straight enchanted hardstone. All right, guys, that's it for sludge mining. So 6 to 8 mil an hour, pretty like solid requirements though. All right, guys, so for this method, I'm actually going to be on my home island. Now you can also do this in the garden, basically anywhere where you can set up a line of dirt that is 164 blocks long. Now, why does it need to be 164? Well, I'll tell you. So you can do this method with just a builder's ruler and an infinite dirt wand. And that is literally all you need for this. It does become slightly faster if you also use a block zapper. And if you have a block zapper, you're actually going to want this to be exactly 164 or more blocks long. If you do this in the garden, or if you have an expanded island, you can actually make it longer in order to utilize more of the builder's ruler ability to break blocks. So in order to do this, what you're going to do is you're going to make a giant dirt platform and you're going to seed it with some mycelium. And then you're going to make additional giant dirt platforms 1, 2, 3 blocks below. And you can make as many of these as you want. You need about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish for it to be infinite. You also will need to add some form of light source. This is much easier now that we have the builder's ruler. And you're going to need to put a line of blocks here across. So the idea behind this method is that dirt will automatically turn into mycelium. Dirt is literally worth 1 coin if you have the infinite dirt wand, and mycelium is worth over 5k for an enchanted. And you can even do a little bit of cleverness and turn it into corrupt soil, which is going to sell for, wow, apparently like 1.1 mil right now. Usually it's around 900k, but it's around a mil, and it has been for a long time. That price isn't going to go down. So you can turn it into corrupt soil for some extra profit. So how do you do this? You make this farm, which I have a video about, which you'll see above, and you're just going to right click with your builder's ruler. Now this takes about a second to refresh, so just keep that in mind. You'll notice I'm removing 164 blocks because my farm is 164 blocks long. And that's important for the zapper. I believe the builder's ruler has a longer range. So you'll be able to use it 20 times before it gets exhausted. And then you can go ahead and use the zapper if you have it 20 times as well until that gets exhausted. And this is where it gets really interesting. So because of the builder's ruler, this becomes much more easier to replant. So all you have to do is grab that infinite dirt wand, click your way across, and boom, you've replanted it. Now, in order to refresh the cooldowns on your zapper and builder's ruler, all you have to do is go to the hub and hang out here for exactly 7 seconds. So you hang out here for 7 seconds. You go back to your island. I have these warps to get to my farm faster. And you just go ahead and you do that again. And that's it. So that's it for that method. It's very, very easy once you've got this farm built. The glowstone might cost you a little bit to get set up, but it's trivial compared to how much money you'll make. So how much money will you make? You can make 8 to 10 mil an hour right now from selling this enchanted mycelium on the bazaar. That's a lot. Like that's really good money for how completely like nothing this requires. You can even make more money if you take that mycelium and you turn it into corrupt soil, because corrupt soil will always be worth more than the enchanted mycelium needed to make it, because that's what people want it for. So people are constantly like profiting off of this by just turning it into corrupt soil and selling it. All right, guys, that is it for my 5 money-making methods. I've tested all of them. They all make the amount that I told you they make. Oh, look, I'm invisible. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. If you know of any better money-making methods, let me know in the comments below. Bye.